Imagine the Chase Center lights dimming for a moment. Every Dub Nation heartbeat synchronized in suspense because what's brewing behind the scenes with Golden State's 41st pick in the 2025 NBA Draft is anything but ordinary. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. The 41st pick might seem like a footnote to some, but for a franchise clawing to maintain its dynasty edge with the greatest shooter in history still leading the charge, every selection is a calculated move on a ticking clock. Last year, when Quinton Post quietly slipped into the lineup and turned rookie whispers into tangible impact, the basketball world learned that the second round no longer harbors just hopefuls. It can birth indispensable puzzle pieces. Now, the spotlight swings to 2025, where 5 dark horse candidates emerge as shadows cast with potential dynamite, each representing a different strategic philosophy that Steve Kerr and the Warriors front office must decode with surgical precision. First up, Kobe Bree the sniper, whose laser-guided consistency from beyond the arc is a luxury Golden State can't ignore. Hovering around elite 43 to 44% three-point shooting, Bree isn't just hitting open shots. He's sinking daggers off the dribble, under siege, and in clutch moments, carrying the kind of floor spacing and off-ball movement that could seamlessly slot into the Warriors' orchestrated ballet of shooters. Yet the intrigue deepens with Zion James, whose intensity on defense recalls a remnant of the fierce, blue-collar legacy Dub Nation has cherished from the We Believe days to recent playoff wars. At 6'4", James embodies the kind of perimeter lockdown and switchability that the Warriors desperately crave after struggling to keep pace with the West's physical wings. His evolving 40% from deep punches another hole through the stereotype of defensive specialists who can't shoot, setting the stage for a rare dual-threat role that draws envious eyes across scouting networks. But wait, as you catch your breath, Chaz Lanier strides into the frame, a fiery offensive weapon unafraid to own the moment, boasting a near 40-inch vertical leap and a deep bag of mid-range bombs that harks back to the Tim Hardaway Jr. mold. His ability to shatter defensive schemes with attacking moves and relentless shooting volume spells immediate offense at a position where the Warriors have splintered, attempts after Curry and Clay's ascendancy. Still, defense remains a question mark for Lanier, a gamble that Kerr must weigh against pure offensive firepower because on a roster toggling between age and urgency, can you afford defensive breakdowns? Then there's Kobe Sanders, the cerebral combo guard out of San Diego State, his name perhaps less flashy, but his impact potential rooted firmly in his extraordinary assist-to-turnover ratio and the kind of steady, downhill decision-making reminiscent of the Sean Livingston Javali McGee mold that helped define the Warriors' championship fabric. Sanders doesn't promise highlight reels, but he does offer blueprint-level control and pick-and-roll mastery that could stabilize a second unit that too often folded under playoff pressure, a quiet guardian for a team desperately seeking composure in chaos. Finally, the wild card, Micah Peavy, whose physical presence and aggressive paint attacks could rekindle a long-missing dimension of Warriors basketball, a relentless driver to the hoop with rim-rocking efficiency at 57% near the basket. Peavy's raw aggressiveness, juxtaposed with his slower shooting mechanics and defensive length concerns, mirror the enigmatic Josh Okogie, a player unlikely to emerge as a superstar but invaluable within a disciplined system that prizes role, clarity, and grit. Could Peavy's mature readiness, already knocking on the doorstep at nearly 24 years old, be the immediate spark this roster desperately needs, especially as whispers of a Jimmy Butler trade swirl? The tension here is palpable. Do the Warriors gamble on the long-term shooting promise of Bree or Lanier, the defensive intensity of James, the game management of Sanders, or the physical, rugged urgency of Peavy? Each path comes with its own risks and rewards, reflecting the high-stakes chess game that's unfolding behind closed doors. And just when you think you've mentally placed your bet, the narrative flips again. Enter Sotto, The Filipino phenom whose B-League dominance merges size, skill, and a basketball IQ that screams NBA ready. This is no ordinary prospect. Sotto's journey from the dusty courts of the Philippines to electrifying displays in Japan's B-League tells a story of relentless discipline and cerebral growth, the kind that Golden State's system not only recognizes but prizes above all else. With over 500 rebounds and approaching 1,000 points, Sotto isn't a static big. He's redefining modern center play with a unique blend of rim protection, smart passing in transition, and evolving mid-range touch that could mesh perfectly. Alongside Draymond Green's defensive wizardry and Curry's unparalleled offensive genius. But here's where the stakes explode. Sotto's rising social media fever and cultural resonance present an opportunity beyond the stat sheet, offering the Warriors a global bridge to an underrepresented demographic in the NBA and a fresh wave of passionate fans hungry for championship glory. His ability to control the paint with sharp timing, high football IQ, and an emerging scoring arsenal could finally answer the long-coveted next-man-up question, filling gaps left by the aging core and volatile supporting cast. Yet, even with this promise, the clock is merciless. Sotto's development curve, his adaptation to the NBA speed, and the accompanying pressure to perform on a stage that has tested even Harden's and Durant's mettle can't be ignored. Warriors executives know this. The window with Curry and the triumphant core is narrowing. Is it wiser to bank on the cerebral growth of an international talent who could blossom over time, or stick to the tried and tested formula of drafting immediate rotational contributors with defined roles? The financial stakes roar louder than ever with looming salary cap complexities and the pressure to produce playoff results, not just compete but truly contend amidst the loaded Western Conference hungry to dethrone the Splash Brothers legacy. Inside whispers suggest the Warriors front office is hunched over advanced analytics, scouting reports, and breakthrough player tracking data, searching for that ineffable fit that transcends box scores and highlight reels. It's about chemistry, system blend, and the intangible spark that makes the difference between a good season and an unforgettable title run. Remember the crushing playoff heartbreaks that nearly unraveled the dynasty, the blown fourth quarters, the defensive lapses, the fading second units? Every pick in 2025 is shadowed by that pain, driving a ruthless calculus. This isn't just a draft, it's a lifeline. Yet could the silent pivot be right there in this cohort? A player whose arrival eclipses even the KD era's seismic shifts, quietly ushering in a new chapter of dominance? As I sit here, a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse race is just writing this, imagining the hands that lift the 41st pick to the mic and the name that finally echoes through the rafters as a beacon of hope. But is this the spark that reignites our dynasty or the crack that fractures our legacy? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand. If your heart just jolted imagining Steph cooking in the final minute of a Game 7, unleash your thoughts below. We're not just breaking down picks. We're dishing out the blueprint for the Warriors' next grand saga. The 41st pick in the 2025 draft isn't just another name in a crowded folder. It's a ticking time bomb with potential that might either redefine the core or reveal the cracks barely held together by the grit and glory that defined the last decade. Here's the raw truth. This draft moment sits at the crossroads of Golden State's legacy, because while Steph is still defying father time with a career-high 32.3 points per game this season, Klay is battling through that soul-wrenching comeback that has Dub Nation holding its breath in every possession. And Draymond, that defensive genius still pulling strings with 8.1 rebounds and 9.7 assists is fighting to extend the dynasty's lifespan past the inevitable ticking clock of age and mileage. Meanwhile, the West is a brutal beast. Suns and Nuggets flexing their star power like hungry lions. The Lakers clawing through internal chaos, and OKC's young guns ready to shoot down any faded glories. To stand toe-to-toe with that Golden State has that immense pressure bearing down. Every move must be surgical and every gamble calculated. And here's the kicker. This isn't about zero-sum stats or highlight dunks alone. It's about chemistry, about that invisible spark. Could the arrival of a sharpshooter like Kobe Bryant finally give Curry the lethal spacing partner who can routinely stretch defenses beyond 38 feet? Could Bree's cold-blooded stroke open lanes so wide that even Wiggins, who's been grinding, with 20 points but questionable efficiency, can flourish again? Or does the franchise dare to rejuvenate its defensive identity behind Zion James, whose relentless intensity could plug the critical defensive holes that have festered since Clay's Achilles, especially on those punishing West Coast road trips, where sweat and scrapes aren't optional? Imagine James's 40% three-point shooting might be the exact blend of offense and defense that flips the script mid-series, turning second-unit rotations from liability into lockdown units capable of swarming like the old Hamptons 5. But what if that intensity disturbs the delicate harmony? Can the veterans, especially a famously cerebral Steve Kerr, handle the fiery green energy without tipping into costly foul trouble or fractured locker room mojo? Chaz Lanier seduces with offensive flair, his explosive vertical leap and mid-range. Kraft almost tempting you to pencil him in as the next dynamo off the bench who turns quiet games into highlight reels. But here's the gamble: can the Warriors really afford to accept defensive liabilities again? Not when every other contender has doubled down on stifling defense. Does Lanier's offensive gift come with a hidden cost, one that could unravel the team's famously disciplined rotations? Then there's Kobe Sanders, the unsung steady hand whose chemistry building, Sean Livingston-like finesse might be exactly what the Warriors need to calm the storm brewing around the bench. When the Splash Brothers exhale and the floor shifts into chaos, Sanders could be the quiet compass steering the ship through turbulent waters. But will fans embrace the subtle, the steady? Or are we hungry for that electrifying blaze? And let's not overlook the wild card Micah Peavy, physically imposing. He ravages the paint with a 57% efficiency rate, rekindling the bruising edge that the Warriors have missed since the days of Draymond's prime interior beast mode. His maturity and toughness could give Kerr the kind of role player who doesn't just fit rotations, but demands respect on both ends. But his slower shooting release and questionable defensive agility raise alarms. Does the Warriors system allow room for such rawness? Or does the clock run out before Peavy's fully formed artistry can bloom under NBA lights? Now, just when the chessboard is set and all eyes fix on domestics, enter the international storm Kai Sotto. His journey is nothing short of cinematic. From the basketball-hungry streets of the Philippines to B-League dominance in Japan, carrying the hopes of millions overseas, but also presenting Golden State with a unique cultural and competitive opportunity. He's not just adding muscle and skill to the paint. He's injecting global relevance, possibly opening a marketing and fan-based new frontier as the Warriors look to expand their brand equity amid the salary cap snarls and enduring competition. That paint presence might shore up all those myths. Rebounds where Wiggins, Moody, or Kuminga struggle, and the passing genius alongside Draymond could make him a chess master of the frontcourt. Yet the looming question remains, can Sotto's cerebral game translate against NBA veterans? Or will he require years to adapt, years the Warriors might not have if the West is closing in like a pack of beastly rivals? What if this is the moment where the team's aging core finally needs that injection of youthful thunder? Someone who fits Steve Kerr's system not only on paper, but in the chemistry lab of heartbeats, breakaways, and crunch-time drama. Remember the haunting echoes of the 2016 Finals collapse, the kryptonite moments where defensive lapses and shooting droughts shattered dreams. Can this choice be the antidote the team's almost frayed resilience screams out for? Or is it a risk so colossal that fractures the locker room's delicate balance, tipping the finely tuned machine into a nightmare? Whispers off the floor suggest executives are also eyeing hard data, the sixth-man statistics, player tracking on transition, defense, the eye test on toughness, but also the less quantifiable finger on the pulse of leadership. Because at the core, Golden State's DNA isn't only Steph's infinite range or Draymond's fiery heart. It's that uncanny alchemy of souls, and the 41st pick is a torchbearer for this next chapter. Could we be on the cusp of a new dynasty's foundation stone or the beginning of a painful rebuild? A cautionary tale for those who thought the dynasty was eternal? As someone who stayed up nights during the We Believe revolution, who celebrated the KD-era dominance with all the hope and heartbreak tangled inside, who gasped with Clay's return in 22 and still believes Steph holds some cosmic last miracle in his wrist, I'm telling you, this draft pick could be the spark that sets the Chase Center ablaze once again, or the spark that ignites a slow-burning fuse of inevitable change. Now it's your turn to tell me what's burning inside your chest. Are you ready to embrace the unknown, ride the wave of this high-stakes chess game, or are you bracing for a reckoning? No filters, no shields, drop your truth in the comments, and I'll be there with every word, every fight, every hope.